right, everyone, welcome to the Obvious Podcast. This is episode number 89. My name is Sonny Macon. I'm the COO at ABC Florida East Coast.
And I'm Peter Daiga, President and CEO at the ABC Florida East Coast.
You are listening or watching the Obvious Podcast, where all opinions expressed are our own, unless we say otherwise.
Love the show? We ask you to subscribe on any major podcast platform or watch us in action on YouTube. Follow the Obvious Podcast on Instagram, X, and True Social, and now on TikTok. All the links you need are in the show notes. Reach out to us anytime at theobvious@abceastflorida.com. And if you're enjoying the ride, we ask you to help others find us by leaving a review wherever you listen. Happy Friday, Sonny.
All right.
Here we are again.
Here we are. Episode number 89. So do you remember when we were in the 50s? No.
I don't remember what I had for dinner last night.
Yeah, well.
Unfortunately. That doesn't reflect poorly on my...
Gives you a lot of credibility as a podcast host. We were discussing, holy cow, like 100 is coming up. And I cannot believe this is 89.
Yeah.
Right?
So
feedback has been phenomenal. And it hasn't all been milk and honey. People are upset, especially the young folks on TikTok. By the way, I saw the greatest meme. It's like a historical painting. And the lady says, have you been on my TikTok? And he says, why can't you just call it a watch like everybody else?
Oh, Lord. It is funny, these generational...
differences, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody was talking about, actually, one of my kids was talking about how Gen Z, like the latest one, it's like they rediscover old truths and then they present it as something brand new that they have just discovered. C.S. Lewis calls it the chronological snobbery of our times.
I love that.
You know, and it always cracks me up because they were like, "Hey guys, have you discovered books? Like, it's amazing.
Right.
It's like so different than reading on a Kindle."
Discovered logic, reasoning.
So today's episode is called Why DC Matters to Your Business. And so, as you know, we have an unbelievably busy calendar here at ABC. Things happening, my gosh, like every week there's multiple things happening. And so, and our whole purpose in existence is to really protect and grow the construction industry.
Yeah.
Right?
Which, by the way, we were paid in some side conversation I had recently a very heavy compliment on our events.
Oh, yeah?
And how it compares to the other options that are available out there. Sometimes if you they say in social media, if you watch it, you can get depressed about, your life and this great food and these great trips and that everybody, if you just follow social media, you might think, that, I don't know, there's a lot going on or that anybody rivals ABC in terms of the quantity or quality of events we have. And I was just reminded by a member that's just simply not true. And we believe that, Yep. Again, we work very hard at trying to keep it fresh too. And, but in any event, and we've talked in the past about our team, Amy and Megan, and how great they are. And anyway, just wanted to throw that out there.
Do you remember the compliment?
So, well, yes, but I don't want to say it specifically. It was a kind of direct comparison to what they've experienced.
Okay. To some other organization. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. And it's like, it's like real estate. In real estate, I don't know, a few years ago when photography got really good and people started using these professional photographers to take pictures of houses. Mm-hmm. And you were like, wow, this place looks amazing on Zillow. And then you go and then you look at this and you're like, what kind of crap hole is this, right? It's
kind of like dating, the online dating.
Well, that's a whole different, I'm not touching that one.
Well, I haven't done that in eons, but I understand, you can be fooled or tricked.
Let's just stick to the real estate comparison. But I think events and how organizations present themselves online, it's such a different experience than sort of the reality of it all. And I think when you experience that, I know you were just in the Keys for our fishing tournament, which was a huge hit. I happened to not be there because I was in the incredible, scintillating, very sexy capital of Tallahassee, Florida, for my daughter's graduation, which was great, by the way. Uh-huh. And then you were in the Keys.
4 years of investment pays off. It's great.
Well, she's still looking for a job, so we'll find out. But we had a great time. And then the feedback that I received from random emails and texts was how great
About the fishing tournament?
about the fishing tournament, how great the fishing tournament was.
Yeah, largest ever
Largest ever
for us, and has been for a while, according to the guides that tell us it's the largest tournament in the Keys. So, which is pretty cool,
That's very cool.
and it keeps growing, which is great. Very, pro family event, which we don't do a lot.
Yep.
Because a lot of things.
But we're a pro family organization.
Absolutely. So, yep.
But
anyway,
our events are. I mean, you're right, and I'm glad that and it's been when you do.
He does an amazing job. When in the association world, if your members are leading, with either that high level strategic planning or,
Right.
The thing that kind of sets us apart, and then they're committed, which we're there's a kind of a connection to the whole DC matters to your business. Is that the fishing committee does an amazing job. They've developed an amazing.
And if you're a fisher person, I was going to say fisherman. Is fisherwoman a term? It's not a term, right?
I don't know.
All right. If you're a fisher,
Probably.
if you're a fisher person, and you want to join,
Who the first company to do the woke thing was?
No idea.
Do you ever remember the Ace Hardware commercial? Ace is the place with the helpful hardware man.
Oh, they changed it to folks.
Well, this is like a decade or two.
Oh, a long time ago. Yeah.
Let me Google that.
Okay.
When Ace changed from Ace is the place for the helpful hardware man. They were way ahead of their times. And that kind of rolled off your tongue. And I don't know that any woman, I don't know, I can't speak, but for a woman, but would you be offended? Ace is the place for the helpful hardware man.
I mean, I wouldn't, but
But it just doesn't roll off the tongue the way Ace is the place for the helpful hardware person. Which is
No,
what
they
say now.
changed folks.
89. See, they were way ahead of their times. That was way before. And they were like the first. It was like the.
Are they still in business? Don't people go to like Home Depot or Lowe's?
They're hanging on, which I'm glad they are. Little independent hardware stores. So
Anyway,
Detour.
let's talk about
what we're famous for on this show, detours.
let's talk about our upcoming ABC National Legislative Conference in Washington D.C. And that's a lot of words, but the whole point is why does D.C. matter for your business and why you should attend and what happens there and why it's important and what we talk about. So I thought we can get into that, talk to our members and our audience about that. That's an event coming up in June.
We do two kind of days on the Hill.
Yep.
All right, because we do one on the state level and then Washington level. In fact, all our leadership is expected to attend one of those.
Either D.C. or Tallahassee.
Either DC or Tallahassee. So, and they are different, in terms of the, and there's a lot of truth in, I think the pace of change is a little more real at the state level than at the federal level.
As it should be.
Well, that's a great point, by design, some might say. But still, they're both very valuable. They both impact your business. And we wanted to spend a little time about how DC impacts your business. So, right?
100%.
So how does DC impact our members' business, honey?
Oh, policy. So construction is one of the most regulated fields in this country, right?
Yes, my predecessor, Dan Shaw, used to say that a lot.
Yeah.
Picked that up from him. Most regulated
hardly
next
think
to
of
nuclear energy. But he pronounced nuclear the way most people do.
I love how George Bush used to pronounce nuclear.
I can't even do it.
Nuclear.
What did he say?
Nuclear.
Anyway.
And then he used to pronounce Kabul, which is the capital of Afghanistan, Kabul, which always used to crack me up,
Kabul. Kamala. Kamala.
Fool me. Remember when he got completely
potato,
flustered by the
tomato,
fool me
tomato.
once?
So
Fool me once line? He goes,
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. You fool me, we can't get fooled again.
he just kind of wrapped it up because he couldn't remember it.
So
Anyway, I miss George Bush.
I was looking at the agenda for LegCon. So, and really what we want to do is invite you, ABC member or not. You don't have to be an ABC member to attend. Come on up with us.
Yep.
It's a great time actually lobbying, going office to office and seeing a number of the congressmen and senators themselves. In some cases, we do see staff, which you can't downplay. A lot of staffs play a very important role.
Critical.
Might be as important or more important to make sure you convey, the message that we have to them as it is the congressman or the senator. So, but I saw the list also of, which is one of the coolest things about attending. We usually have some really spectacular guests
Yep.
in Washington, leaders, that you probably would recognize from TV. So it's kind of cool to be there and to hear from those folks. I think we got Henry Mack, is now the workforce development or apprenticeship, I think, vice.
I think it's the Deputy Secretary of Labor.
Deputy Secretary of Labor, who's going to be there. A few other, really critical. I think I might have seen Rubio on that list, and I don't know.
Well, last year Mike Johnson stopped by.
Yep.
Speaker of the House, and the guy from Fox News.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a spectacular time. Yeah. We usually have a nice meal or two. Mm-hmm. I know
But that happens no matter where we are.
So well, for sure. But Washington's a great place for some good food. Anyway, it's a great time of camaraderie, and to be more specific, how DC impacts our business, issues like obviously immigration and the future of this country in terms of our immigration policy is going to be a big conversation. I think that's something I saw on the agenda as well, a kind of a conversation with one of the leading congressional members who's had some creative ideas, about immigration, which we and our leadership has tried to get included an idea of, like, for example, if you're enrolled in a registered apprenticeship program, maybe we ought to tie that to work authorization in the country.
And your status.
I mean, if you're enrolled in a registered program that's advancing your skills and as an apprentice, you're working, so you don't have to worry about them being a burden on any kind of a welfare system. For us, it seemed like a great tie, because we're always looking for ways of, tying. And these are challenges our industry faces, right?
Absolutely.
Input pricing and or availability, whether it's materials or labor.
Yep.
So anyway, and then a whole host of other issues.
The other big thing we talk about in DC, which will come up this year as well, will be the PLA issue. Right? That's something that hasn't really gone away, and it's such a huge tax on taxpayers because it drives up the cost of every public project there is. That's
right.
That's in any way federally funded. If it's partially federally funded or fully federally funded, it's gonna have an impact.
Yep, and we've done past show, I think, on more specifically this issue. So look for that if you want to know more. This has been a back and forth. That's bad. Didn't put my phone on. Do not. It's all right. Almost as bad as if you're in church and that happens, but not quite.
Well, way to compare this to church.
Well, about how usually it's a volley back and forth, right? Between executive orders and actually this year, or it's been actually ongoing for a while, is ABC has been involved in a lawsuit to try to get, because we're tired of the ping pong back and forth, and if we could actually get a court, to determine that it's illegal or unconstitutional, and we wouldn't have to worry about these executive orders going back and forth as Democrats and Republicans get elected. There's some bad news on that front recently.
But before you get into that, bad news about the PLA, I think that's a very critical point about why DC matters to your business and why this conference matters, is because the kind of way this is now shaken out over the last few administrations, it's all executive orders. So your guy gets in, things are great. Your guy gets out, things are terrible. Then your guy gets in, things are great. That's really no way to run a business. It's really no way to run a country. But that's kind of where we are. And it's sort of there's a reason why Congress has a 7% approval rating. By the way, I would love to meet those 7%. I'm assuming they're family members of the congressional people. Like, if you think Congress is doing a great job, I really want to have a conversation with you. Like, what planet are you from, right? And so,
I mean, it's got to be more than 7%, like getting some kind of government assistance, So why is it even higher?
That's a good question. Even those people are
all those fraud, and even those people are frustrated because we're paying a little more attention to that.
Yeah.
So
it's so interesting to me how Congress consistently fails at that, but. This is why we go up there and we talk to our legislatures, and the whole idea is that this is critically important for your business.
Yeah.
And you might think, I have a small business, I don't do any public projects. Listen, the macro impact of federal policy, it's profound. It is absolutely profound because it affects all sorts of things you haven't even thought about and things that we haven't even thought about. So,
quite frankly, the small businesses, I think they they value your thoughts and the struggles that you face, and even more so than, in my opinion,
a large corporate.
I mean, they really do, I think. So in any event, getting there and conveying the challenges that you face and the issues that the federal government or obstacles that they may or may not put in your way is important. So when we provide at least this one opportunity, and we do it, by the way, several other times a year, not necessarily as a nation,
right?
Because on June 10th, which is the legislative conference, on the 9th are also some breakout sessions in our national board meeting and a Free Enterprise Alliance reception and whatnot. But the core is if you're there for the full day on the 10th, that's when we'll be doing most of our visits. We come from around the country, so you're going to be there with ABC members from all over the country. So, and then a few other times a year, yourself or John or TJ or sometimes myself might go up to DC, for additional visits.
I mean, that's why we exist. I mean, this is not like we only communicate with these people once or twice a year.
Right.
We exist because we're always fighting for our industry. I'm actually going up there next week. But the whole idea is that for them to hear from you, it's obviously ABC is very effective. ABC does a great job communicating what matters to you. But for them to hear from you, it carries even more weight.
Absolutely.
Right? And it's an important thing that you come to this, you attend, and you let your voice be heard because, again, we do a great job. I'm not saying they don't understand our issues. They understand our issues, but it just has even more of an impact to have our members there, to have our leadership there.
So we invite you to sign up. You can go to abc.org, which is our national parent company's website. They'll have on there on their events navigation tab information on the legislative conference that you can sign up for. We'll be together, during all the meetings as a group. You never have to worry about. We talk a lot about this for Tallahassee as well. Some people are like, I don't know anything about that, and you don't need to, because. And I assure you, by the first meeting or two, you'll be chiming right in. And
so last year we had our young professionals join us, right?
Which let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
We do. I mean, again, we're so blessed, aren't we? I mean, that our leadership supports this, that we as management put these things in front of them, but we're able to actually support our YPs going to either Tallahassee or Washington. So I think we've already got 4 that are signed up. So I think we pay for the registration.
We do. And we take care of the hotel as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So all they got to do is fly up there. So, but yeah, you were about to talk about that.
Yeah.
Last year we had
we had a bunch of new YPs in our meetings, and I remember because we go in small groups, we break up the groups. And I remember last year, the YPs were quiet in the first meeting and in the second meeting, but by the third meeting, they were chiming in, they were talking to the staff and the legislatures, sharing their concerns, their company's concerns. And it was cool. By the end of the day, they were experts, right? Like they were like, okay, here's an issue. Let's talk about PLAs. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. And it was very cool to sort of witness their transformation from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. So there's nothing for you to be concerned about. You're not going to be sitting there alone in a room with a congressman. It's gonna, it sounds scary now that I say it out loud. But you'll have a good time, and you'll really find it to be informative.
Yeah. So if you've never been, we invite you. We'd love to have you come up. I think you'd find it very rewarding, as you would Tallahassee. So come to both if you can. It's not too late to register, abc.org. We sure would love to have you. And you really are, the glue that holds this whole thing together in terms of our membership, being in front of these elected officials and sharing your challenges as a business owner. So I think.
Man,
they really value hearing from you.
I'm telling you, they're going to be surprised to hear this, but that's the end of our episode.
What?
Flew by, right?
Go to abc.org. We'd love to have you at LegCon.
And if that's sort of intimidating to you, just email the show. We'll walk you through it. theobvious@abceastflorida.com.
Help make our government better.
Yeah.
You can do it. We can do it together.
Yeah.
So did you know AARP used to have that? Is that bad that I mentioned that? They used to have a great
American Association of Retired People.
They used to have a great campaign about if it was easy, anybody could do it.
All right. That's true.
And the same kind of holds true for ABC in terms of Washington and Tallahassee. So if it was easy, anybody could do it. It's not easy, but with your help, it will be easier. So, anyway, we'd love to have you.
Thank you for joining us on this Friday. Have a great weekend. And we will have another episode for you next week.
All right. And for comments, send us an email at theobvious@abceastflorida.com. Until next Friday.